Hey, what's up everybody? I'm the Gerbil. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about, do the new Lightspeed bundles mean a Scarif fleet raid is coming, a battle of Scarif? For the uninitiated, that is the Rogue One movie that featured, well, spoiler alert, the death of everybody in that movie basically. So I think that there's a really good possibility that the next raid may not be the Jedi Temple battle that a lot of folks think it is. And, you know, if you feel that it is, power to you, you're probably right. I mean, to be honest, you probably are. But we also kind of have that belief because of, you know, a lot of stuff that's been happening in the game, like the recent introduction of the Jedi Vanguard and the Jocasta new character we're getting, and how the end of the next era, which will include 6 new Jedi Vanguard plus Jocasta new, because we're told we'll get 5 marquees plus a legendary, how that's going to coincide with the delayed launch of the new raid, which is supposed to start in June, July, according to Capital Gains. Yes, Capital Gains said very clearly that the new raid, of course, that being whatever it is going to replace the battle for Naboo, which we've had now for over 8 months. Now, here's the thing, and here's why I don't think that that is actually indicative of it being a Jedi Temple raid. While it makes sense with that timing, what does not make sense is the fact that the new raid is taking a lot longer to launch than planned. You see, all of the raids, when we switched to this new raid currency system and we got the crate raid for the first time, Capital Games was very clear that new raids would run for 8 to 10 months. And the crate raid did just that, then the speeder bike raid on Andor, and then this one, Battle for Naboo, is already 8.5 months late, which means the new raid should have launched by their own metrics next month in April. Instead, it's been delayed now all the way out until June or even July. Interestingly, something else launches in April. It looks like they may have possibly, you know, according to their own schedule, been aiming for an April launch of a new raid, which happens to be the launch of season 2 of the Disney Andor show, which is, next to Mandalorian, the most popular show on Disney Plus in terms of the Star Wars saga. So there's a lot of people in the community that are really hoping that, well, where is it? Right over here, that the Andor show is going to like really lift up Star Wars and bring, you know, a lot of the fans back to it, because there's so many disgruntled people after the Acolyte debacle. And actually, personally, I really loved Skeleton Crew, but you know, we're digressing a little bit here. So let's jump back over to the phone real fast and look at the game. The new raid, is it gonna be Temple, Coruscant Temple? I actually have to say, folks, I really hope it's not. And then I'll explain why the new bundles, I think, are pointing the way to a Scarif battle raid. So here's the thing. The Andor raid was pew 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 versus an unlimited rush of scout troopers on speeder bikes, basically. The current raid is an unlimited run of pew 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 against droids. What would a Coruscant Temple battle look like? Well, it would obviously be hordes of troopers, clone troopers, versus untold number of Jedis and Anakin. Now, for funsies, they could throw in Cup. He could definitely be in there, and there's no reason, right, that Cup doesn't make it in there, especially with a new Cup Relic 9 bundle coming to the game. Ooh, yay, that's fancy, I suppose. I'll buy it. But Bad Batch doesn't make a lot of sense coming to the game for a Temple raid. They weren't there. There's no real connection. Their story really begins post Order 66. So what are these other 3 bundles? These 3 point to me to a Scarif raid, as does the timing of the Andor TV show, as does a few other things. But everybody is looking at these and saying this is a Radis bundle, because you need Jin, you need Cassian, and you need, I believe you need Biston, and obviously you need Admiral Radis himself there. But you know what? I don't think that that's wholly what that's for. Because if you go actually look at, yeah, that's the wrong one. If you actually go look at the bundle the requirements to unlock the Profundity, you don't get anywhere near there, honestly. You get a few characters, like we just said, but you do not get Dash Rendar, you do not get Mon Mothma, you do not get Hera, and you don't get any of the ships. All these ships are in many of them are in other bundles that we've already been provided, like the Jedi Knight Luke one, and there was a Rebel one with a whole bunch of leftover Rebel teams. But you know what you do get is you do get all the pilots for both of the U-Wings. Specifically, you get all of the U-Wing pilots, not pirates, har, me mateys. So if we go look at just U-Wings, we've got right here, we've got Cassian, Jyn, K2, and then the other one, we've got Biston and Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. And then if we go look at the bundle, we've got Biston right here. He's the only one, along with 4 other people. 3 of them are ground pounders. Actually, no, Bodhi was a pilot. My bad. Take that back. Bodhi was a pilot, but doesn't have a ship in the game yet. Ooh, interesting. And then right here, we have all of the U-Wing other pilots plus POW. So we've got Ezra, Cassian, K2. That's Cassian's U-Wing. And then we got Scarif Pathfinder, and the other one we got Biston. So we do get through these 2 Lightspeed bundles, we get all of the U-Wing pilots. And the U-Wings are important because the U-Wings were very, very prominent at the Battle of Scarif. Why? Because that's what they flew into battle there. That's what Bodhi flew, I believe. That's what as Urso was flying, right? The U-Wings were, that is Scarif. It's also worth noting that all of 10 of these people that they chose, they are all dying. They all die at Scarif. Even Admiral Raddus there. Sorry, spoiler alert. But what about this interceptor? Well, yeah, there were probably TIE interceptors at the Battle of Scarif. So it seems like we might get, there's a good possibility we might get, if not now, but down the road, a fleet raid. Now, everybody's been hoping for a Death Star raid, but for whatever reason, we're 9 years into this game, we don't have that. I don't think, I hope and I believe that it's coming, but I don't think it's going to be this year. We're only going to get 1 raid this year. And the 2 most likely candidates are indeed that it is either going to be Jedi Temple, which makes sense because of the Vanguard, or we get something completely different. And I've been hoping for a long time now that completely different is going to be a Death Star raid, which still makes sense to me, especially from a business perspective when it comes to monetization. But a Scarif raid makes even more sense, not only because Andor is launching, but Andor is also, and spoiler alert, ending. It is confirmed, and Disney has confirmed it many times, that Andor will only have 2 seasons. It is done. This upcoming Andor, that season 2 that gets released next month, will come out, I think, in 3 waves of 4 episodes each. I think that's how they're doing it, rather than 1 episode a week or whatever. It's coming out like in blocks, and it's ending. So how does the movie end? How does the Rogue One story end? It ends by everybody dying in the Scarif attack where they steal the Death Star plans. And so launching or recognizing the end of that series and being the popularity of the series, I think that trumps the anniversary of Star Wars Episode 3 and the timing. Because again, the Jedi faction, the new Jedi Vanguard faction, it feels coincidental that it's happening in line with the raid rather than by design. Again, we were supposed to get a new raid like this month or next month, and if they had stuck to that timetable, then the fact is we would not have Jocasta Nu for the new raid. We would not have those other 5 marquee characters that are coming for the raid. We would not have the legendary for the raid, right? CG said back in, what was it, January, they said we are canceling some projects we were working on that they didn't have the time or whatever, and they're having to shift focus. it is arguable or possible that the Jedi Vanguard is what was supposed to come out in January, February, March, and instead they pushed in Bad Batch because the raid wasn't ready. Maybe they were supposed to introduce those 3 characters, or the Vanguard, in January, get them released for the Temple raid in the summer, and then we'd be moving into Bad Batch right now. That's very possible, but I don't think so, because they couldn't say, crap, we're not going to make these Vanguard characters in time. Let's quickly just throw out all these Bad Batch characters. Unless, of course, they had already had the new Bad Batch team ready to go, ramped up, developed, and everything. And I don't think that's the case. It's very, very unlikely that Capital Games already has entire factions and squads and things lined up ready to just go on a whim. It's possible. But given the amount of sheer bugs that are in their kits when they release in every character, it seems, whether it's Hu Yang or Galactic Legend of Ahsoka or General Syndulla or the Leviathan, holy crap, was that a disaster. They don't seem to have these prepared long enough in advance to properly test them. It seems to be pretty random, right? Not random, but rushed out. So yeah, this is a U-Wing Lightspeed bundle, and this one is also a Rogue One / U-Wing completion bundle. Like, CG never wants to give you everything. When they sell you a bundle that includes Cairo, you never get all 50 hardly. You usually get 10 or 40. Right? When you buy a bundle with Zetas, you get 10 or 16 or some crazy thing like that. You never get the whole thing. That's why in this kit, they give you 4 of the 5. And then over here, they give you the 5th U-Wing pilot. So this is a U-Wing Lightspeed bundle, more really than Radis. And the U-Wings, let's face it, they're just not really used anymore, unless you are one of the legacy players like me who still use Home One a lot on offense. It's actually really good. I will swear by that till the end, but whatever. Again, TIE fighters were there. So I think a Scarif raid is highly possible. Now, maybe they pushed that back. Maybe that's what they were working on, and they decided to scrap that and instead create a whole new raid, and now they're going to base it on the Jedi Vanguard and do the Temple. But seriously, I do not want 10 months of how many clone troopers can you kill, or 10 more months, just like we've had a 10 month of how many B1 battle droids can you kill, or before that, how many speeder bikes can you kill. That's just crap. It's boring. It really is. It's year after year, all they're doing is changing the character you're shooting and changing the background. A Scarif raid would be really unique in that it would be our first true fleet raid. Every other raid is all characters, right? We've got all these ships in the game. We've got lots of them. And giving us a fleet raid does give us an opportunity also to get more ships in the game, whether it's more Empire ships or maybe Rebel ships to get us that B-Wing that so many people want, or A-Wings that so many people want, that were featured in the Scarif movie. Or maybe we get that Bodhi his own ship, because Bodhi is, let's face it, he's pretty worthless in this game. But he had a significant role for the Rebel Alliance, and well, he has no point in the game really otherwise. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that the next raid is Scarif. I think it'd be great. Instead of destroying endless hordes of TIE fighters, maybe the mission is to destroy the shield generator before Darth Vader's capital ship arrives and wrecks you. That puts you on a clock. That puts it more like the crate raid. And who knows how that's implemented, but to me, that would be more fun than just blowing up endless hordes of clones, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And for those of you saying, yeah, but we might get some really cool cinematics, I'm sorry, the battle for the Naboo raid, the cinematics on it are not worth watching 5 times a week for 10 or 11 months. It was fun for a moment. It was pretty, I keep going the wrong place. It was pretty the first 12 times we saw it. It's stale after that. So we can't justify a raid because we want to see the cinematics that only last 30 or 40 seconds. Most don't even get me started on how little work that is relative to the time and the income it takes that they have to produce it. So yeah, I think the next raid will be versus a big boss. Instead of a crate, instead of a rancor, the big boss will be the shield generator. The expiring moment will be when Vader's ship warps in, or that's a Star Wars charger. Light speeds in, hyperdrive in, when it appears, whatever. So yeah, folks, who knows? It's just speculation. I'm reading the tea leaves. Tell me what you think. Let me know if you think I'm absolutely crazy. I probably am. It probably is a Jedi Temple raid, and it's gonna just be rinse and repeat the Battle for Naboo raid. They're just gonna change the background. They're gonna change the model. From B1s they'll be clones, and we'll just go hack and slash with Anakin and just whine about how long it takes again for a year as we all hope for something better. Anyway, whatever. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.